In today's lesson, we're going to look at working out percentage of amounts. There's three types of percentages we need to be able to calculate. That is 10%, 5% and 1%. We're going to start off by looking at 10%. To work out 10% of an amount, you simply divide the amount that you're working 10% of by 10. So let's have a look at these examples. To work out 10% of 90, I'd take 90, divide by 10, which gives me an answer of 9. For the second question, I'm asked to work out 10% of 670. So I'd take 670, divide by 10, which gives me 67 as my answer. And lastly, 10% of 300, I would take 300, divide my answer by 10, which gives me 30. To work out 5% of an amount, I would start off by working out 10% and then half it. That's because 5 is half of 10. So, to get 5% of 80, I would think about what 10% is. Well, 10% would be 80 divided by 10, which is 8. Therefore, 5% is 8 divided by 2, which is 4. Likewise, if I wanted 5% of 320, I'd first think about 10%, which is going to be 32. 320 divided by 10. Once I've got 10%, I know that 5% is half of that. 32 divided by 2 is 16. And lastly, 5% of 700. I know that 10% is 700 divided by 10, which is 70. Therefore, 5% is half of that, which is 70 divided by 2, 35. Lastly, you need to be able to work out 1% of an amount. To get 1%, you simply divide the amount that you're working out 1% of by 100. So, in this first example, 1% of 800, I would do 800 divided by 100, and that gives me 8 as my answer. In the second question, I have 310, which I want to work out 1% of. I'm going to divide that by 100. It's a little bit more tricky, but you can think about your decimal pointing moving 2 places to the left, and that gives me 3.10, which I can write as simply 3.1. And lastly, 1% of 20. I would take 20, divide it by 100, and again, thinking about where your decimal point is going to end up, it's going to jump twice and be before the 2. So that's going to give me 0.20 or simply 0.2 as my answer. Just be really careful to think about where your decimal point is going to end up when you divide by 100. So, your task for today is to work out all of these percentage of amount questions. You've got a mixture of 1, 5 and 10%. You can either pause the video and work from the screen into your maths book, or you can print the worksheet off and write your answers in. It would be useful, particularly for 5%, to show a little bit of working out of the step that you did in order to get your answer. I just want to emphasise that this is a non-calculator task, so please refrain from using your calculator at any point when working these out. So you can pause the video now and have a go at the questions. Once you've done, unpause the video and check your answers. Once you've done this, correct any mistakes that you've made, make sure that you understand it and send me a comment if you need any help, and upload a picture of your work so I can see how you've got on. Here are your answers. Make sure you check through all of your work really carefully, and once you've done that, correct any mistakes. Then you can take a photo of your work and upload it to Show My Homework so I can see how you've got on. If you are struggling to complete some of the work from today's lesson, then please do not hesitate to get in touch via comment on Show My Homework. I'll try to make myself as available as possible and get a reply to you as quickly as I can. If the issue requires a little bit more input from myself, I might ask to arrange a time to meet on Teams where I can give you some personalised help with that specific problem.